Hello everyone, welcome back to Shed Show Talk with me, Paul. It's time for this week's roundup of UFO reports from around the world. And I emphasize the word around because have a look at this going on in China. And don't forget to look at all of the people that are staring at this on the ground. There we go. You can see everybody there looking at this object in the street and just wondering what this is. You can see this gentleman here is pointing at the object, showing somebody what he's seeing in the sky, and just to his left there's another two people just staring at this phenomena right here in the shot. You can also see a gentleman here looking at it. So this isn't photoshopped in there. This is an actual object in the skies. I'm guessing that this is Beijing. I don't have a location, but look at these lights. What on earth is going on right here? Let's zoom into these things as close as we possibly can so you can get the best view of them that we can find. Look at that. That's a nice zoom right here. It's actually pretty clear, as you can see that there's smog in the sky, and these things are shining through that smog with no problem whatsoever. And we've got 3 more sightings that will knock your socks off, but I want to know what you think this is. It starts off completely different. These things start off as almost like a blur in the sky, and then they become clear as if they've just entered into the dimension, which of course is something that John D'Souza talks of, an FBI investigator of 20 years, believing that these are all interdimensional beings or craft or technology that we are seeing here. Also believes that they're interfering with our governments. I think that he's probably the most credible witness that we've interviewed here on what could be going on. We're going to take you to another eerie sighting right now. Have a look at these. This gentleman, he was going through his old photos and videos to make space on his phone, and he came across this short video, and it starts with a group of lights that appears to be one object, and then the lights start to descend into another group of lights and appear at the bottom. He has no recollection of this event whatsoever. Let's roll the video. You're going to hear lots of strange things going on in the background. So this bus. And then he stops recording. He doesn't know why he stopped recording. He doesn't remember the event. But as these lights are descending down to the ground, listen to the screams in the background. You notice just as that video cuts off that everything goes quiet in the background. These people are talking about these objects in the sky. You can hear them discussing them, how one had stopped, and then you hear that girl scream in the background. And then just before He cuts off the video just before Julian cuts off the video. Silence. Strange sightings here on Shed Show Talk this week. Bizarre encounters from all over the world. And the next one isn't going to disappoint you either. Just before we move on to that one, though, I have enhanced the sounds right before the screaming begins. Listen to what this guy says. Do you hear that? And it stopped. And then now the screams. And of course, Julian just stops recording. Doesn't remember it. Doesn't know what happened. This is a really intriguing video. One that he took. His own voice is on there. He says at one point, this is not good as these things descend. I mean, was this as close as we're going to get to what was maybe a mass abduction event with him and these other people that he can't identify or doesn't identify in the video? Okay, have a look at this. This gentleman's smoke alarm went off at 1 a.m. in the morning, and about 10 minutes after that, it had gotten him up and he went outside to have a cigarette, only to see this sighting. It starts off as a single orb and drops another orb about 3 or 4 minutes into his video. I've edited that out because he was just showing the single orb in the sky, and this orb falls all the way down. He captures it, and the second object went out of sight when it falls to the ground because of a building, and the bigger object disappeared heading south, did not burn out, just continued on its path after dropping a second orb down to the ground. Let's roll the video. There it is. You can almost see that this object that's now the original object that's in the sky that just disappears heading south kind of blinked at one point there in the video, but really interesting, and not the first time that we've seen these orbs in the sky drop another orb, almost like they're giving birth. And again, I would say probably 70% of UFO sightings are these orbs that fly freely around our skies, and you should always keep your eyes to the sky because I see them all the time. And if you look up, you're going to see these orbs floating around, changing direction, and doing strange things. And I always wondered if these are something that future humanity have sent back to record the times of our modern day. I just don't understand what other interaction or what else these things could be doing other than recording the history here on Earth through some kind of recording device. But that's just my opinion right now, because there really isn't any good answer for these things as it stands right now. Okay, our last sighting takes us to Chicago in the US, and what's interesting about this sighting, just like the first sighting, there was actually electrical interference with an object, which was her phone that she was recording. This was last night at 9 p.m. Her son-in-law spotted something flying towards the house, flying fast with no sound. They live about 8 miles from Chicago. The lights were bright enough that they could see the difference in color and shape in the object. It was moving straight and then backwards, up and down, and her phone started to pick up static, which you're going to be able to see in the video, and then it cut off. When her phone shuts off, 3 military helicopters come, fast, flying low over their house. The only sound that they ever heard in this whole encounter was from the helicopters, and the helicopters were giving chase to this object and went out of view. I'm going to roll the video so you can see this, but absolutely amazing witness testimony of this sighting right here.
See, I'm videoing again. Look how it's moving. I'm completely still and it's moving from side to side.
It's moving fast.
As quick as that fish.
It's flashing different lights too.
Yeah, but the lights are on top, not on bottom.
Why is it moving like that?
Came in too early.
Either they're testing something.
That looks like it might be the same thing.
Where'd it go? How come I can't find?
Yeah, that's the problem I had with it with my phone.
I can't find it.
That house across the road.
Is something new they're testing?
I don't know.
Or do you think it's some type of invasion?
My phone has disappeared. I got a lot of static on it.
And then the video ends, and these helicopters then fly over her property and give chase to this object in the sky. And at one point you can hear them talking about the maneuvers and how it's coming back around, which obviously we can't really make out in the video because it's nighttime to where this object is relative to anything else, but a really strange sighting. And again, as it interferes with her phone, another one similar to the fire alarm going off and then him going outside. But this is really interesting because obviously the military had some knowledge that this object was in the sky and these helicopters were giving chase. You hear the girl talking about, is it some kind of invasion? And these things run through your mind when you have a sighting like this. And this is why I think it's so important for us to know what information our governments have on this. And I think that that's where disclosure is really important for our governments to come out to the public and tell us what it is that they know, not anything other. We don't expect that they've got communication with them, but maybe they have, who knows, on that side of things. But we really do need disclosure, and we need it fast from our governments, just of what information they have. That's all we need. We'll do the rest of the work. Just tell us what you know. And that wraps up our sightings this week here at Shed Show Talk. From me, Paul, stay safe, keep your eyes to the sky, and if you find anything, record it and send it in to me here at shedshowtalk@gmail.com.